Welcome to Heavy Metal Monday.
Hey, it's Coach Mike Capiglione coming to you here live from Varsity House Gym. Thanks for joining me on my 4th edition of Heavy Metal Monday. Last week, I hope you enjoyed my video about the football bar bench. I had my special guest Joe Marciano, aka Joe Power Pro, okay, and our song of the week was Cowboys from Hell from Pantera. Okay, so welcome back. Today we're going to do a new exercise, and today's a special Heavy Metal Monday. I'm going to be giving you 2 songs today, okay, a Maniac Metal Monday. Okay, so today I have a special guest with me today, Shoto Okajima. Shoto has been one of our college athletes for the last 4 years. He played all 4 years of hockey at Rutgers University, where he just recently graduated with a degree in mechanical engineering. After his hockey career at Rutgers was over, he still wanted to continue his personal fitness goals and is currently still training here at the gym. And I think we're in week 5 in our Manmaker group. So he's currently in week 5 of our in-house Manmaker program that he's been training hard on and really has a lot of goals with that. Shota, some other things I say about Shota, he's not only one of the most consistent athletes that we've ever had at the gym, but he trained with me for a very long time in my rack and basically became the general in my rack and really was like the guy who took control of the rest of the guys in the rack and made sure they, put the weights back, set up correctly, people were spotting each other. And Shoto is a silent leader, and he's been really one of the great athletes we've ever had here at the gym. Tremendous power. He recently just did a knee box jump off his knee at 24 inches. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty powerful. For myself, I'm happy if I could just get to my feet. So to see him jump off his knees onto a box of 24 inches is really cool. So I'm happy to have Shota with me. Today, the exercise we're going to be performing, he's going to be helping me out today. We're going to talk about how to correctly set up the box squat and how to execute it correctly as well. At the end of performing the exercise, we're going to talk about why you use the box squat and what the difference is between the box squat and the free squat. So let's get to it. Okay, so let's get started here with the box squat. Now, before we even get in, okay, and take the ball out of the rack, there's a lot that should be going in to just your setup. Okay? One of the biggest things that I see is the mistake on actually setting yourself up and the correct grip for you. Okay, and for the length of your body, for how mobile you are. So we're going to talk about what kind of grip I like to see you have. Okay, so with grip, depending on the individual, how tall they are, how short they are, and how mobile they are, it's really going to depend on what kind of grip you're going to take on the bar. So for instance, for myself, okay, I have a little bit tighter shoulder, my upper back and my shoulders are always usually pretty tight. So for me, it feels a lot better when I take a much wider grip on the bar. So I usually will put my index finger right on the line of the bar. You'll see here, and I'll take my grip there and there, okay? If you're a little bit of a mobile individual and you have good range of motion sitting down and you have good range of motion in your shoulders, you may want to take a tighter grip, okay? Because that may feel more comfortable. You may want to take that thumb width grip where you line your thumbnail up to the smooth and rough part and then you take your grip. And that's your grip each time. It all really depends on the individual. What I see a lot is guys who don't have a lot of hip mobility or good range on their squat, they'll grab in real tight, and that's what's going to happen is when they sit back, being that they're very tight in their hips and they have a real tight grip, they're going to wind up starting to do this and start really rounding the back, and you really don't want that. So you kind of want, if you see that, you want to open up their grip. Okay, so like I said, I have Shota here to help me today with the box squat. So we're going to get him in here, get him set up. I'm going to give him some cues, and he's going to follow my cues and perform the box squat correctly. Okay, Shota, so let's step in. Okay, now for Shota, I know his mobility is really good. Okay, he's got good shoulder mobility, he's got good hips, he's very flexible. So he's usually going to take that thumb width grip that we talked about. So he's going to take that little bit of a tighter grip. Now, what's important to remember, okay, is that one of my key things that I try to teach my athletes and my adults when I'm teaching them anything, box squat, bench, deadlift, that you have a superstitious routine when you're performing these exercises. You should be going through a list of basically commands in your head of how you're setting yourself up correctly. It shouldn't just be grab, grab, and go underneath. Okay, there should be an actual thought process to where your grip is. Take my grip, everything's good, everything's lined up. Now, what I want to make sure that we do once our grip is taken, whether it's wide or close, is to make sure that we take a look at that center piece. Okay, so once that grip is taken, you want to take a second to look at that center piece in the middle, that center knurling. A lot of times what I'll see is people take their grip and they just put their head down and go. Most of the time if you do that, if you didn't take that second to look at that middle piece, you're going to wind up being off-centered and the bar may be either more to the right of you or to the left of you, and then you have to be corrected by your spotter. So to save yourself some time, okay, make sure you look at that center piece and get underneath it. So get underneath the bar. Okay, so now when he gets underneath the bar, he's got the meaty part of his back, his traps, okay, are on the bar. He doesn't have it too high, okay, or too low, okay. There are two versions of a squat. There is a high bar squat and a low bar squat. We're not going to get that too detailed. All I want you to make sure is that you have that centerpiece directly in the meaty part of your back. Not too high, not too low, resting on the traps, okay. His hips are under the bar. Okay, we don't want to take the bar out and his hips are like this and he's basically doing a good morning out of the rack. All right, we don't want that. All right, we want to be under the bar. Okay, feet about shoulder width, hips are back slightly. Okay, he's going to breathe in, squeeze nice and tight, and he's going to take the bar out of the rack. Okay, so he's going to walk back. He's going to feel the box with his calves so he knows directly where the box is. His toes and feet are slightly outside his shoulder width and they're pointing on a slight angle outward. Okay, so that when he sits his hips back, his knee and his hip are following the same angle that his toe is. All right, perform a good rep. Okay, now as you see, as Shota comes down, he's going to sit back slowly, pause on the box for that second, fire up. Perform 3 more reps for me. Thank you. Now, as he finishes, he's going to stand tall, bring his feet together, walk it in tall, feel the rack, lean in, and put it down. Okay, so right now what I want to do is I want to break down, okay, without him having the bar on his back, exactly what it was he was doing. Okay, so when he took the bar out of the rack, he set himself up. When you go down, right before you head down, he's going to breathe in hard and push his stomach out. He needs to flex his stomach hard, okay, so that he creates lumbar stability. Abdominal bracing creates lumbar stability. And before he even goes down, that's exactly what he's going to try to create. So he's going to breathe in, and he's going to sit his hips back slowly. So breathe in, sit slowly, and now he pauses. Now, Shota does a great job, okay, of keeping his spine in a level position. His back is naturally arched. Okay, what that means is he doesn't create this rounding motion, okay, where now his back becomes rounded. He creates that, keeping that lower back arch. And he does that by pulling down on the bar and keeping his upper back tight and his lats engaged. But by doing that, that will create the natural arch in his lower back. Now, while he's sitting on the box, he's holding on the box, okay? It's a box squat. So you cannot tap the box and come up. So he's holding for that half a second to a second, staying nice and tight, and he's flexing his abs as hard as he can at the bottom. And then as he comes up, he's going to complete the rep by standing up. He let a little air out, lock his hips out so his body's in a good anatomical position, and then he repeats that process. Okay, that breathing maneuver is called the Valsalva maneuver. Very important, okay, to try to protect your lower back and try to get the most out of your rep. Thanks, Sho. Okay, so a common question I usually get is, what is the difference between the box squat and a free squat? Okay, well, the box squat, as you saw, he's actually sitting on the box, okay, and he's pausing. The difference there is that there is no stretch reflex component of the box squat, where in a free squat, where you see a lot of Olympic lifters lifting and training, they can kind of spring in and out of the hole and they could use that stretch reflex. Here, there is none. It's much more of a static lift, okay? So a lot of guys, Olympic lifters, for instance, will have a lot of hard time coming to the box squat because they're not used to that dead stop where you have to, so it takes a lot more to engage them in that static position than the res for that stretch reflex. Also, with the box squat, there's a little bit more emphasis on the glutes and hamstrings, because when you sit on the box, the quads, for that half a second to a second that you're sitting, have a tendency to relax. Now, they're not technically relaxing. They are still very flexed, and you should be flexing and pushing out and keeping your quads tight, but there has to be some sort of re-engagement of your hamstrings and glutes to get yourself off that box. So the box squat is a great variable to throw into your working out and your training and with your athletes, because a lot of times, if you're training a lot of college athletes, most of the time in their weight room, they'll be doing free squats a lot. So it's a good variation to come in here when they come to your facility in the off season to perform some box squatting if they're having some trouble firing their glutes and some hamstring development issues. So it's a very good idea to do that. Plus, junior and high school and adults that you have inside your gym, it's great to utilize because, to me, it's a much safer squat to perform. People feel a little bit more comfortable with the box squat because there's a reference point. There's a spot for them to sit. They feel less nervous. The free squat feels a little bit nerve-wracking because they don't know how far they need to go down. It feels a little off balance. So the box squat's a really great way to teach somebody how to squat for the first time. Now, when you're box squatting, okay, it's important to think about the box as being a piece of glass. That was one of the things told to me when I first started box squatting, is to sit on that box soft. You don't want to sit on the box very hard. Remember, you have the bar on top of you and the box on the bottom of you, and in between is your spine. So you don't want to slam hard and compress that spine, okay? You want to make sure you sit on the box nice and soft like it's a piece of glass. So my last key point with the box squat is depth control. One of the main issues that I see with my athletes and with the adults that I work with is that when we free squat, nobody really knows how far they need to go down. And you get a lot of inconsistencies. So when you have a beginning lifter, you get a lot of inconsistencies with the actual lift itself. Meaning one rep may look actually down and parallel, and the next rep is actually too high. And they can't really gauge where they need to be. So the box squat, that problem is no more. You're giving them where they need to be every time. Now make sure you don't get lazy, and if you have a bunch of athletes in your rack varying in all different heights, that you just don't put one box height on there and everyone uses the same. All right, for myself, okay, if I'm squatting with somebody who's, say, 6'4", his box is going to be higher than my box. But a lot of times I see coaches getting too lazy and they put one standard box on there and everyone squats in the same box. All right, so really understand your athlete, where their hips need to be, and it's a really great way to gauge your depth. I hope you enjoyed the box squat today. Now on to my 2 heavy metal songs of the week. Okay, so before we get started, I want to thank Shota for coming in, helping me out. Appreciate that. Okay, and today, okay, is a special Heavy Metal Monday. I'm going to give you 2 songs for this week, mainly because a big fan of the show, one of our warriors here that come in and train in the gym on a daily basis, has been asking me to put this song on here since I started the show. So I'm going to put this song on here for him. Plus, it's also Shota's favorite metal band. This is the band that I used on my first show, and that is Metallica, okay? And the song today is going to be 4 Horsemen, and that song is dedicated to you, Howie, okay, and for you only. All right, that song came off their first album called Kill 'Em All, and a cool story about that album, real quick, before I move on to my real song of the week, is originally Dave Mustaine from Megadeth was part of Metallica, and he was supposed to work with them and be part of that project of the first album, and they wound up kicking him out of Metallica, and he wound up creating his other band, Megadeth, and obviously they went on to have a lot of success, but not as much success as Metallica, I would say. But so that's pretty cool. If you never knew that, Dave Mustaine used to be in Metallica, got kicked out and created his own band, Megadeth. So pretty cool story. Four Horsemen, first album. Check it out. It's awesome. That's for you, Howie. Now on to my real song, heavy metal song of the week. Okay, so on to my real heavy metal song of the week. Okay, and this comes from, in my opinion, the most talented band in probably the last 30 years in heavy metal. Not too many people, when I talk about them, if you're a casual metal fan, most people don't really know who they are, but they're very talented. They're like a super group. Everybody in the group basically plays their instruments to the best of their ability, and the drummer is one of my favorite drummers. Okay, and that band is Dream Theater. Okay, and we're gonna pick a song from the album Train of Thought. It's my personal favorite album that they've ever done. It's a fantastic album, and the song we're going to choose today is a song called As I Am. It has a terrific riff in the beginning, and from my opinion, it's a great song. I didn't want to give you anything too, their songs get very detailed. It's more of a standard song. It's more of a metal song. They are on more the lines of progressive metal, so a lot of the songs that you usually hear from metal usually go about 4.5, 5 minutes. They usually take you through 8.5, 10-minute song. That whole album is a terrific journey of music. Mike Portnoy, the drummer, is one of my all-time favorite drummers. Unfortunately, he's not in the band anymore. He's moved on to do a lot of projects. He's worked with Avenged Sevenfold. Another band he's been putting together is called the Winery Dogs. And now currently, I just found out he's another band called Metal Allegiance. And they just released an album in September. That's like another super group, has the bassist from Megadeth, the guitar player and singer from another like thrash metal band called Death Angel, and they basically get together and with other singers and create all these songs and stuff like that. So those songs from that album are definitely going to be showing up here on a future show, because that album is terrific. So Dream Theater, the album Train of Thought, the song As I Am. If you never heard of them, go check them out. That entire album, that is right there. Okay, in a half hour of terrific music. If you enjoy music and you enjoy people playing big guitar riffs and big jam sessions, you will love Dream Theater. They're really awesome. So thanks for joining me today. Thank you to Shota once again for joining me on my 4th edition of Heavy Metal Monday. Okay, make sure if you liked what you saw to hit the like button at the bottom, send me a question or a comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, and check us out at varsityhousegym.com and check back in next week. Until then, stay heavy.